Hi guys, today I want to share my journey on how I started my courier business. It's been an incredible journey so far, filled with ups and downs, and I'm excited to take you through it. Back in 2021, I used to be a delivery driver on my motorbike, but unfortunately, I was put on a driving ban for 12 months. During this time period, all I wanted to do was to drive again. I remember having to ask my friends, can you guys please pick me up, as I had no way to get anywhere. Around 6 months into my driving ban, I told myself, I want to do something related to driving. I then met someone who spoke to me about the CX, and at this time, I had no idea what it was. He showed me the app and showed me what type of jobs he got. Immediately, I thought, I can run a business around this. For the next 6 months, I've done a lot of research, looked up different type of vans, watched a lot of YouTube videos, spoke to many people to better my knowledge on the whole industry. This is when I said, I'm going to take this idea serious and put it into action. Now that I had the plan in my head, I spent a lot of time creating a website, making everything perfect, creating a logo, and designing a business plan. I didn't actually do this myself. I found someone on Fiverr to create the logo for me. My next step was to look into a van. I had many ideas of what vans I could get. My idea was to start off with a small van, as I just came off a ban and I knew my insurance quotes would be very high. I found a small Ford Transit Courier in Southampton for around 15 grand. I didn't have the money to buy it up front at the time, so I financed it. I paid around £3,500 for the deposit, followed by £300 monthly payments. I had the van before I even got my license back. I started to reach out to anyone who I knew worked in transport or needed a courier. When I finally got my license back, I managed to start working on a courier exchange. At first, things picked up very slowly. I was literally accepting any job that came my way. I didn't have a lot of knowledge on the industry, as I've done a lot of research but never actually experienced it. I didn't even know what was a good price to quote, what was too high, what was too low. I just bidded and hoped for the best. The first few months was just work from the courier exchange. No private customers, no nothing. I think I got my own customer around 2-3 months into it. My friend was a transport manager at a big company near where I live, and he said I can start doing some jobs for him. The only problem with this is that he normally has big jobs and I only had a small van. I wasn't confident in subbing out jobs at this point, so I only did the small van jobs that he gave me. I was only used to the quotes that I used to get on the courier exchange, so when he told me the price that he was willing to pay, it was a big eye-opener for me. That's when I realized maybe I can start charging a lot more. I carried on working on the courier exchange and doing some of his jobs on the side, as he was my only customer. After the first few months, I gained a few more customers, mostly from word of mouth. Once things started to pick up, I realized my own customers is the way forward. I don't need to rely on this app. That's when I decided to go all in and build a courier business and not just be a courier driver. I then started working with a company that offered me a good work. We used to cover London Heathrow and London City lost luggage for both KLM and Air France. At this point, I was making good money. However, I was doing all the work myself, and I knew to scale the business, I had to be a little bit more hands-off. I then hired my first driver. He had his own van and own insurance. However, I would pay him to do jobs every single day for me. He would cover the lost luggage shifts, and that was a good way that I could make some passive income. Things started to get better from there, as I could now relax a little bit more and take it easy. I didn't really want to hire someone at this point, but I only had a small van, so I couldn't cover the jobs anyway, and it was way too expensive to invest in a bigger van at this current moment of time. At this point, everything was going well. I would cover the smaller jobs while he'd cover his daily lost luggage routes. And then I got that dreaded call. We no longer have the lost luggage routes. This was a major setback for me, as I now had to explain to the driver that I could no longer provide him work. I also lost my passive income at the time, which for me was helping me get by day. I was devastated when I heard I lost that work. However, I had two options: give up now or go harder. I took a few days off to send some cold emails and do some phone calls to see if I can get more customers. It was then when I got an Instagram DM from one of my friends from high school that said my dad is looking for a courier driver. Of course, I jumped on this opportunity straight away. He offered me 2 days a week, big routes, and this is exactly what I needed at the time. His routes were on Thursday and Friday, so I was already busy those 2 days. I just had to fill up the rest of the week. He then referred me to another friend who needed me on Wednesdays, so now I was already filling 3 days out of the 5. I would use the courier exchange for the Monday and Tuesday. From there, things just seemed to get better. The first company that I started working for had now offered me another route, which is 4 days a week. I quickly called my driver back and said, I have work again, if you're interested. He let me know he was interested and I got him back on. He now covers those 4 days a week. While he's doing that, I now cover Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and Monday and Tuesday I'm on the Courier exchange. As a few months went by, I got another customer, and this customer provides me a lot more work. This means that I managed to fill out the whole week. This is when I realized I no longer need to rely on the app no more. So even though I lost the work with the airline, I'm back on my feet and things are going good again. Now that I'm not relying too much on the Courier exchange, I decided, let me be a bit more professional and get my vans wrapped. This is when I got my van wrapped with my logo all over the van. I paid around £800 including VAT to get this done. However, it was definitely worth it, as I now have free promotion everywhere I drive. By this time, a few more private customers have now started using me to cover their courier work. It has now got to the point where we have multiple jobs per day and we're expanding without actually trying to. We still put a lot of effort into our marketing. We do a lot of cold calls and a lot of cold emailing to try to get more customers. One thing I do which helps me stand out is that I don't use the Courier exchange too much. For example, when I get my own jobs, I tend to put them on a WhatsApp group chat with my qualified drivers, as I know they're going to do a good job. On the Courier exchange, when you're posting a job, you never know what type of driver you're going to get. The driver sometimes might come late, sometimes might not even show up, other times he's unprofessional, might not even speak English. At least when I send my own drivers, I know what I'm sending. I know they're going to be professional and I know they're going to be on time. It's so important to be reliable. People need to trust you and need to trust your service. There has been a few times where I decided, is this even worth it? Maybe it's not. Maybe I should give up. But I just kept my head up and kept going. Another month or so down the line, I decided to invest in a Ford Transit Custom, which, as you know, is double the size of my small van. I still have that small van today. However, it's not really used a lot. Now that I bought a bigger van, I can start doing bigger jobs. So most of the jobs, instead of me subbing them out, I can do them myself, which of course increases your income. I think that was one of the best decisions I ever made, as I was missing out on so many jobs by limiting myself to the small van. Whilst building my courier business, I always focused on building a social media presence. I focused on my Instagram a lot, posting daily content and trying to grow the amount of followers I had. Many jobs I got were actually from Instagram itself, hence why I always expressed the importance of growing social media. I was doing okay in social media, but then I decided, let's step up this game a little bit, and created my YouTube channel, hence why I'm here now. I feel like growing a YouTube channel is also a good way to get your name out there. I love sharing my experience with you guys and showing you what I do every single day. When I get messages or people saying to me that I've inspired them to start a courier business, it definitely makes me happy. I don't see this as competition. I see this as we're all growing and working together. Our business is relatively new, as we've only been open for around a year and a half, but we are growing at a steady pace, and the ideal goal is to keep on growing and expanding. We have big plans for next year. We are trying to expand the operation into Europe. So not only will we cover the whole of the UK, we'll also cover mainland Europe as well. So that's a little background story about how I started my courier business. If you guys are enjoying this content, then please click the like and subscribe button down below, especially as 92% of you guys who are watching my videos are not subscribed.